students, स्वागत छ कार्यक्रम इन्फो प्लसमा। जर्नी टु अस्ट्रेलियाको 5औं सिजनमा हामी आइपुगेका छौं युनिभर्सिटी अफ नोट्रे डाम।
One of our many buildings on the campus. This is a 1930s Art Deco building.
Wow!
It used to have a lot of shops in it back in 100 years ago, almost. And now this is our School of Education.
So this is a heritage building.
Yes, like many of our buildings at Notre Dame. Catholic art and symbolism.
Because Notre Dame is one of the 2 universities only that are a Catholic university, right?
In Australia, yes. We would love to welcome more students from Nepal and other countries to join our community here because we have ranked very highly in the Australian Federal Government survey, in the QUILT survey, the Quality Indicators for Learning and Teaching, being one of the top universities, #1 actually, in 2021 for graduate employment outcomes. So a lot of our students are finding work within the 6 months of graduation.
Right.
Also ranked highly in New South Wales and Western Australia for skills development and learner engagement in the classroom. So it has a lot to do with 3 things. So for our students, they would be in smaller class sizes.
Right.
So they would get lots of attention from their tutors and lecturers. Also guaranteed internships and placements in our undergraduate programs and opportunities as well if they don't want to do it or they do in postgraduate level. And finally, lots of scholarships.
Let's talk about the lots of scholarship that you just mentioned. What are some of the most attractive scholarships that students can get here at Notre Dame?
So all our undergraduate programs for international students have a 25% discount taken off the fee every year for the whole program. And that is if they just meet the entry requirements. So we will automatically grant them the scholarship on their letter of offer. For our postgraduate programs, a 20% scholarship for the whole program, nursing 20% as well. And just recently we now have an exciting scholarship for anyone who wants to come and study our undergraduate business and commerce programs. They get $10,000 off the fee per year.
Some students might also have some questions or hesitation in regards to University of Notre Dame being one of the 2 only Catholic universities in Australia, right? So maybe could you help clear some confusions? What are the things that they can do, cannot do, should do, shouldn't do? Is there anything as such?
Oh, okay. Well, we are a Catholic university, yes. Also a private university, but we accept all faiths. Absolutely. Not all our staff are Catholic. Students don't have to be Catholic. They can practice any faith or no faith at all. But if they are Catholic, we do have Mass right behind us. We have our beautiful church from 1882, St. Benedict's, and they have Mass every day at 12:30, and we have a chaplaincy group as well. We would gladly welcome them into our friendly community here in Sydney, but also over in Perth by the seaside at our Notre Dame Fremantle campus.
Nicola, thank you very much for talking to us and sharing some really good insights as to what a student life can be like here at the University of Notre Dame in Sydney. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Shadi. to do group assignments together. There's lots of spaces and quiet nooks that they can work together quietly. Or if they need extra privacy, they can book a study room, and each of these study rooms has a smart screen.
Things that we do at Notre Dame is to help our students actually get to learn about the profession that they're studying.
Right.
So because we're small and because all of our staff come from the professions, so as I was talking to you before, I said I was a partner of a big commercial law firm in Australia before I came to Notre Dame, and that's uncommon in most universities in Australia, but very common here. So all of our staff teaching law here have come from the legal profession, so they're all lawyers. All of our staff teaching in the business disciplines are experienced business people. So that means that they can bring a lot more knowledge about what it's really like to work in business or in law into the learning, but it also means that they know a lot of people.
Yes.
So because we're small, we're able to run a program which is called a mentoring program for our students, which we run twice a year from first year. So students who join that program choose a discipline. So if they choose advertising or marketing or law or whatever it is they choose, we line them up with a senior business person or a senior lawyer in that particular discipline area. And so they get to spend time with that person over the course of the semester, which is a fantastic way of building up connections, which are very important.
So what also about maybe something about internship opportunities, working after graduation or maybe while they're studying? What are the possibilities of that?
Certainly possibilities there. So all of the students who are studying in our undergraduate business programs, they have a required internship. So they actually do an internship as part of the program. And that has been a very successful way of our students gaining employment after they finish. Students who are studying law can do an internship. It's not compulsory. But Australia is going through a boom period at the moment, almost full employment, and we're desperate for people to come and work. So we find that our international students in particular are very highly sought after for all sorts of different roles. I've been talking most recently with a group of French students who are studying with us, and they're earning more than their parents working in hospitality. So they're working in restaurants and bars, but they're earning more than their parents back home. So it's a very, very nice place to live and a nice place to work.
Lastly, Professor, if there's any message you'd like to give to Nepali students, because I believe you're eagerly waiting for Nepali students to welcome Nepali students this coming semester, right?
Yeah, well, I just encourage you to think about coming to Notre Dame. As I mentioned before, I was a partner of a big law firm. I came to Notre Dame because I studied a postgraduate degree here, and just Notre Dame blew me away. It's a fantastic place, and it's a great place to study if you're coming from overseas, particularly if you like cricket and if you like soccer, because we're just a tram ride away from the Sydney Cricket Ground, which you might have heard about, and that only takes 10 minutes. So we're not far from the beach, but we're very close to the cricket ground. So I would encourage you to come and enjoy the amazing opportunities that you have living in Sydney, such a beautiful city, and studying with us at Notre Dame.
Thank you very much. Thank you for your time.
My great pleasure.
We believe that counselling is one of our most forward-facing disciplines and most attractive to be meeting the needs of a post-COVID generation. We offer undergraduate courses in counselling, a Bachelor of Counselling, a 3-year offering for undergraduate students, but also a Masters of Counselling, which is a full-time 2-year master's program. And domestically and internationally for, as I say, post-COVID reasons, a very attractive offer.
All of us went through quite a lot during that period, the COVID era, and now this demand is definitely needs to be fulfilled. So a lot of students, I believe, are quite attracted in this field of study. How can students really transition from being a student to working professionally? What kind of support would they get from the university in terms of that?
First and foremost, the opportunity that counselling provides. If you think about the psychological and well-being needs of a workforce, regardless of the organisation, regardless of the operations within industry, all organisations need a workforce that is well-grounded, mindful, involved in those competencies that counselling will bring to them. So our counselling graduates are therefore valuable to any organisation. And in thinking about professional tracks, not only working as a counsellor, but also opportunities such as community development officer, group facilitators within industry, caseworkers within industry, support workers, those talent acquisition positions are even relevant to the practice of counselling. The skills and competencies within the degree really do offer a broad professional track for our graduates.
That you visited Nepal in 2004, right? So how was that experience? I hope Nepal has been able to put a good impression of itself.
A wonderful impression. I remember flying in and the Himalayan range was just so magnificent, breathtaking. The people, the vibrancy, and my field is international relations, and I'm very interested in the story that countries go through, the highs and the lows, the transformations, the change. And what a vibrant story the country of Nepal can tell. And so I hope to go back soon.
Any message to our Nepali students who are eager to start their academic journey here?
I like to say we're small in the right way and we're big in the right way. We're small in the right way, come and you will be known. People will know your name, you'll have mentor teachers, you won't get lost in the crowd. We're big in the right way, we're plugged into a national university that can give you a true Australian experience. Our door is open, you'll be welcome.
Fabulous. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you very much.
Hello, welcome to the School of Nursing and Midwifery at Darlinghurst, Sydney and the Notre Dame University.
Thank you very much.
I'd like to show you around the simulation facilities we have for undergraduate students here at Notre Dame.
Definitely.
Yeah, if you step this way. This is what we call a simulation laboratory where all of the undergraduate clinical skills are taught. We have a number of high fidelity and low fidelity mannequin for the training of clinical skills in undergraduate students. The mannequins are capable of replicating physiological parameters that resemble human physiology. So it provides a real life experience for the students within the courses. We also have technology which replicates ventilation and physiological monitoring of patients, which the students can access and use to develop their clinical skills. And I'll show you to another lab now. So in this laboratory, we have a setup for surgical theatres where students learn the principles of sterile technique and the appropriate processes for surgical application in humans for a variety of surgical procedures. So students are provided with a real-life experience and training in the operations of a human surgical theatre.
For an undergraduate Bachelor in Nursing, which is an entry to practice program for registered nurses in Australia. So it's a 3-year undergraduate program that runs, we're part of a national school, so we have a Sydney campus and we have a Fremantle campus. So I'm here located on the lovely Sydney campus.
Yes.
And so our program is a mixture of both theoretical as well as
Practical.
Practical. And one of our strengths is that we offer over 1,000 hours of undergraduate clinical placement in healthcare facilities throughout the metropolitan area, throughout the Sydney area and beyond.
Meaning the students, while they're studying here, also do get to work and have a real life experience, right? Is that so?
That's correct. It's part of our clinical practice. It's part of the program. Students go out into the clinical environment with what we call clinical facilitators who support them in the clinical area, and they are actually immersed in the clinical environment and the contemporary Australian healthcare setting.
We were lucky to be shown around the lab as well. So that's where they get their theoretical and do their practicals as well. But not just that, they also get sort of like a on-the-job training while they're also studying here, correct?
That is correct.
And is that what makes the nursing course here at Notre Dame so different? Or do you have some more points for me?
We do have, certainly having over 1,000 clinical hours, as well as smaller class sizes as well. You've seen our simulation labs, and we have smaller class sizes, so the tutors work very closely. Teachers work very closely with students in the tutorial setting and the simulated clinical environment as well, to ensure that our nurses are really well prepared for
the job market.
for that's right. They come out ready to work.
Fantastic.
In a dynamic healthcare setting.
What would you say are some of the benefits for a nursing student to be doing their course here in Sydney compared to any other cities in Australia?
Well, I live in Sydney. This is my hometown. It certainly is. It's a major city, of course, in Sydney, and we have a great deal of. Certainly, speaking from a professional perspective, lots of hospitals, lots of healthcare providers. So we source our placements from those. Sydney itself is a lovely city, and there's lots here in terms of support, accommodation, beaches, harbour.
Right. A lot of things to do for the students here.
There is. We have, and we have student organisations as well that certainly want to engage with students as part of that student life and university life and enjoying life.
University of Notre Dame, the School of Education offers Bachelor of Education 4-year degrees in early childhood, so including preschool and school sector, in primary and secondary education. And then for people who already have a degree, 2-year Master of Teaching degrees to become a teacher with the existing knowledge that people have. Our school is relatively small, but that's a benefit because it means that our class sizes are small and our academics know every student as an individual and a person.
What would you say are some of the USPs of UNDA?
When I talk to the people who employ our graduates, so the principals, the school systems, they say our graduates are the best prepared of all of the universities. I think there are a number of reasons for that. One is that the small class sizes that we spoke about. One is that our academics are experts. They are all very experienced classroom teachers with doctoral degrees. They know their content, they know how to teach it. But the third one is that we do about twice as much placement in schools as most other universities. In the bachelor's degree, our students do 3 full school term, 10-week placements in schools. So that learning to teach by teaching is something that we really value in our programs, and it's different from most of the other universities.
Welcome, Professor Michael.
Thank you.
Sante hunनुहुन्छ?
Sante cha.
So, you have a wonderful story of growing up in Nepal, right? Because your parents
Yeah.
worked there.
My father worked there and moved when I was 3. So I did all of my primary school there. And then I left when I was 9. And then they moved back when I was 19 and were there for another 6 years. So I traveled back while I was at university. I traveled back every Christmas, every holiday.
Fantastic. So, how was it living in Nepal, growing up in Nepal?
Magical. It's beautiful. It's shaped my life in so many different ways. I think being introduced to another culture at any age, but particularly at a young age, and such an incredible culture as Nepalese culture, was just an amazing experience. And so, it's really shaped the way in which I approach everything in my life. And I consider myself very lucky to have that experience.
As a Nepali, I am beaming with pride listening to you say that. How has your experience been, and why do you think, or how do you think the University of Notre Dame is different compared to other universities?
I love working here because the whole ethos of this university is care for students. And I think that that's always been what I've sought to do in my teaching. And that we want to create an experience where all students are cared for but they're supported to thrive from their experience. So whatever experience students bring here, we try and encourage them to grow from that place. So with that focus, it means that there's an incredible kind of community that is here that supports students, but also that students have an incredible community as well, that they make friends really quickly, that they support one another. That we have really kind of great relationships with our students in terms of that lecturers are really accessible to them, so that they can always come to them for help. And it's it's just a really great place to work from that perspective.
दर्शकवृन्द, यी विभिन्न सामग्री सँगसँगै आजका लागि कार्यक्रम इन्फो प्लसको समय यही सकिन्छ। यहाँहरूले युनिभर्सिटी अफ नोट्रडाम बारे विभिन्न जानकारी पाउनुभयो होला भन्ने हामी आशा राख्दछौँ। आजका लागि म कार्यक्रम प्रस्तुता सदीक्षा श्रेष्ठ लगायत सम्पूर्ण इन्फो प्लस टिमलाई बिदा दिनुहोस्। नमस्कार।
Info Plus for genuine information.